Hello and welcome to the United Voice. This is your Manchester United fan channel, giving you all the latest reaction to what's going on and around the club, players, manager, in the news, and everywhere we can get information from. So it's 5:24 p.m. in the UK, and there's some news out to do with the potential takeover of the club. So looking at the Daily Mirror, well, whether that's a trusted source or not, it's your opinion. But that they correctly state that us Man United fans, we're kind of treading on tiptoes. Are the Glazers going to sell? Are they not going to sell? Well, now there's new reports suggesting that Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad, the Qatari, and Ineos chief, so Sir Jim Ratcliffe, are the prime two candidates. We all know that. So there's a lot of kind of regurgitating news, but there's not a lot of information out there at the moment. Apparently, neither have met the Glazers' kind of asking price, which has been rumoured and been widely reported as £6 billion. The Glazers are under a lot of pressure to decide whether they're going to sell the club or not. And obviously they've got... Have the Glazers directly ever come out and said that they were definitely going to sell Manchester United? Personally, I think not. Instead, I really do think it's most likely that US hedge fund will probably fund the Glazers a few billion. I mean, that's probably enough to do some work on Old Trafford, and probably nothing more than that. I mean, the whole, it's another fiasco, a Glazer-fueled fiasco. And it once again, because of the Glazers, United are a laughingstock. And we just can't get away from this, like, you know. So they're trying to attract, are they trying to artificially raise the value of United? I mean, I love Man U, I love them, but never worth £6 billion. And I think that's the problem. A lot of these so-called bidders don't think United's worth £6 billion either. I mean, the bids have fell short of the Glazers' valuation, but surely the only way they can determine is it not a buyer's market? I mean, ultimately, what someone is willing to pay you is what the club is worth. So if no one right now was bidding more than £3.5 billion, that tells you what they think the club's currently worth. So to put an artificial figure based on God knows what on the value of the club just leads to the kind of mess we seem to be in again now. It's dragging on, and ultimately, we need, as a fan base, and Ten Hag as well, we need this to be over, because the Glazers already didn't spend in January. And why didn't they spend in January? It was rumoured that they said they didn't have any money because they were looking to raise finances. So Ten Hag had no money. We got Wout Weghorst. I mean, commendable doing, a certain role that Ten Hag's put him in. But he's definitely not a 2 goals in one game play. No, sorry, 2 goals in 2. He's not, for lack of better words, he's not scoring goals, and which is really what a striker's there for. And instead, he's kind of playing this, holding the ball up high up the pitch role, which has some benefit, but we need a striker. And without the Glazers giving us money, So without the Glazers giving us money, or Ten Hag money, he had to settle for Wout Weghorst. So what's happening? Well, according to ESPN, the recent bids have increased from 4.5 billion, but there's to 5.5. The fact is, nobody really knows, because anybody who's been their NDA's been signed, so non-disclosure agreements, so they cannot go to the press and reveal certain amounts of information. Although the hope is that the Glazers will accept some form of compromise. After this last round, 2 rounds of bidding, and no one wants it to go to a 3rd or a 4th round of bidding, because they're closed bids. Nobody knows anything. So, an example: imagine you're buying something off eBay, but you can't see what the other people, how much the bids are for. It's ridiculous. One person could be bidding £1.5 billion, and someone could be bidding 5 billion. When realistically, they could be bidding 2. It's about staying ahead of the competition, making sure you're bidding a little bit more. But the way the Glazers are running this with the Rain Group, it's just creating turmoil yet again. It's ridiculous, and in some respects, it's difficult to bring true updates. But it's almost like we're being drip fed. Although the Glazers have, from organisational point of view, have told staff at the club that they should expect clarity on the ownership situation by the end of the season. Now, that comes close to me at the point I almost touched upon a few moments ago, which was, we need clarity as a footballing side now, because there's roughly 10 games left in the Premier League season, and Ten Hag really, he'll be looking at who he might be signing. He probably already has a list, and him and the current director of football are probably discussing that, but without knowing what funds are available, it's probably pretty much impossible to truly plan. So let's say end of the season, season finishes in May. If we don't have new owners then, it's already slightly too late. Because processes need to be put into place. Conversations need to be started with agents and players, and putting feelers out even to see if a club is willing to allow a player to talk to another club. And if none of that can be started until after the end of the season, and then how slow United have been at kind of talking to agents, agreeing on fees, agreeing on wages, getting medicals done. Everything has been so slow. I'd rather be positive, but with the Glazers as owners, I think the only kind of positive I can, in the last few years, has really been signing a Casemiro. And that's it. So anyway, I'll keep you updated. Please, if you like this video, smash a like, subscribe, and share the video if you can. Let's help grow the channel. And I'll speak to you again tomorrow.